Hi everyone, my name is Danny Lachmandas, host of the Talent Tap podcast and founder of Contalo. We help staffing and recruiting agencies generate consistent qualified client opportunities through an AI-powered growth engine. Drop growth in the comments if you want to learn how we can scale your staffing and recruiting agency. Today with us, we have Adam Posner with NHP Talent Recruiting and the host of the POScast. How are you doing today, Adam?
Danny, thank you so much for having me on. Appreciate it.
Good, good. I'm glad to have you on. Where are you calling in from today?
I am out in Long Island, New York, about 45 minutes outside of the city.
Okay, yeah, I've been to New York many times, but never been to the Long Island area.
Yeah, it's not too not
But
too shabby, man. Right by the water here.
yeah, I love New York though.
Not a
Um,
bad place.
so tell me a little bit about how you started your recruiting company, and how you kind of got to where you are today, your background.
Yeah, I'll give you the down and dirty here. So, born and raised New Yorker, spent the first 15 years of my career working in marketing and media here in New York in account management, digital strategy. I was on that side of the house, and then 2015, I was working over at VaynerMedia for the great Gary Vee, and I ended up losing my job, and I was at a crossroads, man. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my career. I didn't know if I wanted to stay in, account management strategy. And I thought long and hard about what I'm good at, what I suck at, and all signs pointed towards recruiting. So I jumped in head first and I joined a fantastic search agency called Onward Search. I learned the art and science of recruiting. And I recruited Danny for marketing and media roles. So I knew the roles that I was recruiting for, which gave me a huge, huge heads up. But I needed to learn how to be a recruiter, right? Danny, one of those things everyone thinks it could be a recruiter. Like everyone thinks it could be a real estate agent, right? Just because you bought a house, sold a house, did some home repair, you think, but you and I both know there's a lot more to recruiting. You need to really understand candidates' motivation. You need to understand business development. So worked on the agency side for a couple of years. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go out on my own. Almost 9 years ago, I found NHP Talent Group. NHP Talent, those initials are my daughter's initials. I named the company after her. I was kinda, like, looking for a name. I'm like, "Rocket Talent, this talent, fire talent," I couldn't think of a good name, and my wife said to me, "Well, what's the most important thing in your life?" And this is before my son was born, and my daughter. So I named the company after her and haven't looked back, and been doing that for 9 years. We specialize all things marketing, media, tech, product, UI, UX, creative. Work with brands, agencies, startups, everything in between. We do a mix of contingency, RPO, retained, all that kind of fun stuff. Love it, and I'm also the host of the POScast, Top Global Career Podcast. Been doing that for 7 years. Yesterday, 2 days ago was our 7-year anniversary, approaching 500 episodes, and love to unpack my guests' life stories told through the lens of their career.
Amazing, amazing. It's amazing that you decided to take the leap and start your own business. That is something that many people struggle to really take that jump because it's such a risk. And I believe that you can't win without taking risk. And anyone that achieves anything in life has taken some kind of risk somewhere. So that's a huge thing.
No, you gotta take your shots in life, man, and I've been thinking a lot lately about the concept of reframing the word failures as experiments, and as business owners, we have failures, but they're really experiments that didn't work out. We tried something. We didn't necessarily fail because it's only a failure if you don't learn from it.
Every failure is a chance to learn and get better. That's the
Exactly.
mindset that I've taken on. And I wasn't always like that. Definitely was
No,
not always
definitely
like
not.
that.
It
But
grows with maturity, man. It grows with fatherhood too, believe me.
yeah, I'm learning that firsthand. Um, but something else, like with the business challenges you face, what would you say has been some of the biggest growth challenges you've encountered, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I think the toughest one in recruiting is that it's cyclical.
Yeah,
You have to roll with the punches as far as the economy, and you have to roll with the punches of changing tides. And we're going to get into tech in a little bit, talking about the AI specifically in recruiting too. How a lot of companies are pulling back, utilizing outside resources because they're doing it internally because all these tools. So you have to figure out how to pivot. You have to figure out how to utilize. How do you change your value prop to not just be a recruiter, but also be, an AITA tech advisor? So these are all the things that I've been working on. And as long as you could hear the signals through the noise, you'll be ahead of the game.
yeah, it still needs AI. Still needs that human touch. Needs to be involved. AI is amazing. It's getting better every day, but the human still very much needs to be
100%.
there in the process, especially in something like staffing and recruiting. such a high touch
Yeah, you
industry.
can't just set it and forget it. These tools are fantastic. And unless you're doing high volume recruiting, or if you're doing, lower entry level roles, you can't just set an AI agent out into the wild to source candidates. I need to look at every single profile before I hit send on an outreach. There's nuances, there's details, there's subtleties, right? You need to really look, because otherwise you're just going to be trolling the ocean, man, boiling the ocean. Nobody needs to do that.
With the rise of AI, there's a lot of discussion about the future of human roles, like I was just saying. How do you envision the collaboration between humans and AI evolving in your field?
Yeah, it's
And what
absolutely.
skills would you say would be most valuable to cultivate?
Yeah, that's such a good question too, and I've been giving that a lot of thoughts. But and if we're going to dial it in a bit to the world of TA tech, first and foremost, anyone out there who's a practitioner, if you're not using it, you're already behind, because it's here, it's not going anywhere, and you need to use it as a tool and not a crutch. So now extrapolating that onto recruiting, you as a recruiter, whether in house or agency, the ability to really understand these tools, know how to use them, know how to find the ways to make yourself more efficient as a recruiter so you could have more human time. How to utilize the tools to help you scale. How to utilize the tools for those admin tasks, those tasks that can be automated, like initial sourcing, scheduling. Maybe if it's a big company, how to utilize AI interview tools, which are incredible for some of those like basic questions. And think about this. One of the pieces I love about the AI interviewing tools, it gives two things. One, it gives every candidate who applies an opportunity to interview. You know what? Thanks for applying. Go through this quick AI interview. It's going to basically take your vital signs, like going to the nurse before you go to the doctor. And what that's going to do, it creates friction in the process. It's going to weed out a lot of fraudulent applications. It's going to candidates may self reject themselves, which is huge with the volume right now. Because you might go through that interview process and be like, you know what, Danny, this role's not right for me. These questions, I thought it was, maybe not, and you're going to be able to really, narrow that list down. The other cool piece is candidates can interview 24 hours a day. You don't have to be, beholden to the 9 to 5 that the recruiter is available. That might be during your workday. You could do it on the weekends. You could do it on the evenings. So you're nurturing that pipeline. You're moving that pipeline through. You're pushing it through. So there's a lot of advantages to it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, to answer your question, you need to make yourself invaluable as a recruiter, and not just have recruiting skills, but understand the tech piece as well. And how does that layer into being a true business advisor to your client?
It's definitely with any business industry, the more you know about the industry that you're going into, the better recruiter you're going to be, the
Oh, yeah,
better salesperson you're going to be. It's all about product knowledge and understanding the client and their needs in their space. Um, it's
100%.
it's it's just going to make everything better. Um, Many businesses are grappling with AI adoption. What's a common mistake you see companies making when trying to integrate AI into their
It's such
operations?
a good question. I think that we're in the middle of this shiny object syndrome world right now. I think a lot of companies, whether it be mandates from corporate, from the leaders, oh, we got to use AI, we got to do that. And it's almost like going out and buying this beautiful brand new Ferrari, and then you park it and no one knows how to drive it. No one knows how to take care of it. It just sits there. No one knows how to drive stick shift. And it just sits there and just collect rust. Or you're trying to integrate a analog into a digital system. You're trying to, duct tape legacy systems into these new ones, when a lot of times you have to kind of burn the bridges on an old system and start from scratch. Take the data, put it into the new one, and move forward. That's a big problem right now.
And yeah, just with the thing about AI and people not knowing how to use it, everyone has access to AI from, your teenager to
Yeah,
your elderly person, right? All ages have access to it now, but within business, there's a difference between using it and knowing how to use it effectively. You'll get drastically different results from someone that knows how to use it effectively. I was talking to someone the other day, and they said, I'm not afraid of AI replacing my job. I'm afraid of someone that is trained on how to use AI
hmm
replacing my job. And that's for sure. The people that are gunning to be trained on AI to learn how to use it, those are the jobs that are going to be emerging. Companies are going to
100%.
be gunning for people that know how to use it and use it well.
Exactly, exactly. And we're seeing that more and more too, even from like job description perspectives. Companies really want to understand how you use it personally, how you use it professionally. What's your awareness of it? What is your familiarity? How deep do you go on it? How curious are you with it? What have you tried? Are you doing workflows? Are you just doing straight up GPT nonsense? They really want to see that.
For sure, it is. It is an interesting world. It's kind of like the internet in around like 1995. If you ask someone today, if you just walk down the street and said, "Have you ever used the internet?" I don't think you'd get a single person that says no. And I think it's going to be like that with AI within a few years. Just a couple years ago, I wasn't using AI too much at all, and now it seems to become a daily thing. But I think it's still early. I think there's a lot of people that are still not fully aware of what's happening in the world and where it's going. But I would compare it to the internet in the 90s right now.
Oh, totally. I mean, I remember I'm dating myself now. I remember being in college and it was the late 90s and I was at school up in Buffalo and we had computers and we're kind of using them more for like word processing and like there was some like basic internet stuff on there and then all of a sudden there's this Yahoo thing and there was these servers coming from the school and we were downloading music on Napster and like the students, the youth are the ones that are using it. This is the new generation. I look at my kids. I look at my 7-year-old, my 13-year-old. My 13-year-old uses goth on top of her homework and stuff. And I'm like, all right, I don't consider that cheating because she's still able to do well on the test. But it's helping her understand these complex word heavy questions.
It's a learning tool.
It's a learning tool. She's not using it as a crutch. And I watch her do it. I see what she's doing, and I'm learning from her. I'm like, I didn't even know about God. Like, you know what I mean? She's using certain things that I'm like, and then I show her tools. I was showing her Claude the other day. She's like, "What the hell?" I'm like, "Yeah, we go deep." I was showing her some
Yeah,
workflow stuff.
that's amazing. A little off topic, but even schools are trying to figure out if they should integrate AI or what they should do because it's so available and they don't know if they consider it cheating. So I think schools are struggling right now on what to do with AI and the children. It's
Absolutely.
definitely changed the world. It's very
Yeah,
interesting.
they're figuring it out. They're figuring out like, what tools they could have at their disposal, what they can use, what they can't use. And a lot of schools also my both my parents are educators. My brother is a guidance counselor in the high school that we went to and the teachers are struggling with it. They're also figuring out how to embrace it and they also have a lot of tools out there for anti-cheating and especially plagiarism. It's not that hard to tell if a book report or some kind of, written piece
Copy
is AI,
pasted.
right? Like these kids got to do a better job and they're learning the hard way. Like use it for your outline, use it for your guide, but let's not lose the art of, the craftsmanship of writing. That's what scares me. I could tell an AI written post. I use it. I don't care sometimes for certain things, but I could also tell when it is.
It makes posting easier. You're able to get out content quicker. That's what I found with
But is the
AI in
content better
general.
though? Is it just because it's quicker doesn't mean better though, does it?
No, that's true. That's true for sure. I guess for the people that are trying to churn out content quickly or get things done, I guess AI in general, even in staffing and recruiting with the client sourcing, it's making things much quicker and efficient. But you still need, like I said, that human touch to go in there and refine and overlook and oversee. But it's saving people massive amounts of time.
Oh, it is, and I'll share some kind of let's go a little bit deeper here. I'll share the way I use it a few times. I use it everything from finding related companies to source from when I'm looking for a role. I use it to summarize. I do transcripts of my call, and I use it to summarize compared to job descriptions, resumes, um, LinkedIn profiles to figure out why they're the best fit, summarize it, and then I wordsmith it. I use it for Boolean search ideas. I use it for analyzing client feedback and putting it back into my AI tools. I use it for everything. It's completely changed the way I recruit in the last 2 years, year and a half.
I'm hoping it's doing well for you. I think it's
We shall
changing
see.
all industries.
We're working on it. Yeah.
Yeah. For a business owner looking to leverage AI that has never had any experience even going into it, what's your recommended first step or foundational AI strategy they should consider?
That's a great one. I think it's really F around and find out, right? I think that's really what it's about. I think
Yeah.
that you need to Um, put in prompts, try things, ask it natural language questions, give it some analytics, maybe put in like your numbers for the last 2 years and, give it a lot of description around your industry, what you're working on, what your client space is. The best part about using AI when you use it the right way is to look out for your blind spots, to find missed opportunities. So play around with the AI. Just literally, I'm serious, just play around with it. Just try it. Go down rabbit holes. Keep, once you get into a thread with a certain prompt, like go deeper, ask it more questions, kind of get to those three whys. and see if you could really assess. But here's the other thing, folks. Do not take every single thing that ChatGPT or Gronk or Claude or whatever the hell you're using as gospel. Please, trust and verify. Huge. Because it's pulling from the data sources that are out there. It doesn't mean they're 100% right.
Yeah, it's all about the prompts, and then what I found with ChatGPT is it's always so positive. It's like
It's a little
whatever
toxic.
idea you give it, it could be the worst idea. ChatGPT will be like, "This is amazing," and I'm just like, "Okay."
It's a bit toxic and you have to train your model, right? Like you really have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
train your model to not give it to me straight, give it to me unfiltered. Use, proper human thinking, logical thinking in there too. There's a couple of prompts you could add to say use, logical thinking.
What ethical considerations or challenges do you believe are the most pressing as AI becomes more integrated into business?
Yeah, I mean, we have to be careful around biases, especially in the recruiting world too. The way these models are trained, we have to be able to ensure that we are more inclusive than exclusive. We have to ensure from a sourcing perspective that there's no biases around geography, schools, that I think that scares me as well. And I also think from a data perspective, we have to be mindful of where the data points are being triangulated from.
It's very you like you said, it's just pulling data from everywhere, right? So you still have to be it's making it easier than just Googling and searching through all kinds of stuff, but there still needs to be some fact checking, right? There needs
100%.
to be need
If
to be
something
some
seems
some kind of cross
fishy,
check.
you need to be because it's at the end of the day, Danny, it's your reputation out there, right? Like if you're taking what comes from the GPTs and you're putting it out there to clients or candidates or even social media posts, like that's your reputation. If you're putting BS out there, you're going to get smoked out.
Um, in your experience, what's often the biggest bottleneck for business trying to grow? And what strategies, maybe AI strategies or not AI strategies, have you found most effective?
Well, I think as a business owner, it's really getting out of your own way, right? Being able to scale, being able to delegate, being able to trust other folks with your baby, right? And hiring people that are smarter than you. That's one of the things I really like to do. I like to find recruiters that are better than me because in the recruiting business, if I can find recruiters that are better than me, it's going to help me scale my business. And I think that ego plays a big role in it. And if you could step out of your ego and really get into the business mindset of what do I need to accelerate my business? Also, look what's holding me back. Where am I spending? And also, I think you have to time audit. Where am I spending my time? Am I spending, 80% of my time, 20% of my time should be generating 80% of my revenue. And
That makes sense.
those are filters you need to use.
Yeah, and I love what you said about the ego and then hiring someone smarter than you. I know lots of business people, and a few, they cannot hire someone smarter than them. They feel threatened.
Yeah, they feel threatened.
It's an ego thing, and that makes a huge difference. I believe it holds their business back. People I know very personally that I've known my
Mm.
whole life, and that's exactly how they are, what you said. They do not like to hire anyone smarter than them, and I've tried to talk to them about it, but I 100% agree with that statement. I've had arguments with people about it. So that's something I agree with very strongly.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, you need to have a level of self awareness. You need to be able to get out of your own way because that's really the only way you're going to grow.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But for my last question today, if you could ask an AI anything about the future of business, what would be your burning question?
When is recruiting going to be completely cooked by AI so I can plan ahead?
That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, Adam, it was nice having you on. Nice speaking to you. Thanks everyone for listening. I plan on posting these podcasts every Monday in shorts throughout the week. Check out Adam's podcast, the POScast. I'll put the link to that in the description of the video. So y'all check that out. Thank you, everyone, and thanks, Adam.
Thanks for joining. Appreciate it.
Yep.